Cips clips. Alrighty, YouTube, another one of Kips Clips. So the democracy scam has played the trump card. So let's analyse where we're at right now and how the players behind the scenes, the Wizard of Oz, the person pulling the levers behind the curtain, have used Trump as a magic trick. I mean, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that the Trump card, literally, it was just a coincidence or just a fate of a play on words. But the Trump card has definitely been played. It has been played. Now, democracy scam, the democracy scam that we are all programmed to not even question. Questioning democracy automatically makes you, in the pre-programmed minds of most, I don't know, they would maybe say a communist, or I don't know, they would go to all these pre-packaged, preconditioned labels, none of them positive, all of them negative, due to the preconditioning, the pre-programming that we've all got. I'm saying, call it whatever you like, let's get away from labels and the prison of calling it something. Let's just keep it a concept in our nut right now without even having to call it anything. Just the concept that we could create a far better system by asking a bunch of 5-year-olds. Now, I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that to be genuine, and I mean it. And I'll explain what I mean. Remember, I don't know if anybody can remember those innocent child-like feelings. Maybe as a parent you've witnessed this. From the parent stance as well as the child as well. But asking those innocent questions like, what is capitalism? What is communism? What is terrorism? What is good? What is bad? What is religion? All these very innocent questions they are overcomplicated to keep us humans feeling insignificant, that we can't quite grasp the concept ourselves, and thus we need a third party to tell us, to give us the rule book. Religion, what is it? Oh, here's a book. Here it is, go and read that. You know what I mean? Not understanding all these, this is the way I see it, rightly or wrongly, these sources of reference when it comes to these topics, 99 times out of 100 are propaganda, in the sense that they are propagated to install a programming in your head, and instead of having the faith in the human individual to be able to figure these things out for themselves over time. Call me crazy, it's just the way I see it. And it's obvious. It's obvious why you would want to pre-program human beings with certain beliefs. Because I'm not talking about science, I'm talking about beliefs. And I'm talking about the preconditioning that's been put into us of democracy. And they've definitely played the Trump card, where they've turned anti-war. Think about it. Trump was anti-war. He took all this massive energy that had harnessed over time through the internet, through the vast majority of good. Anti-war is even just a slogan, but they just anti-bull crap. Anti all this stuff that's happened, the barrage of bullcrap, thanks Ninja, that's happening right now, and they've took all that energy, focused it on Trump, And then through the power of magic, through the power of pulling the levers behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz trick, they have now manufactured enough consent for Trump. People have given him their consent, not only in America but globally, because this is a cult of personality. I've heard Thunderfoot calling the economy an attention economy. Well, it's kind of like attention politics we have as well. It's meme politics, isn't it? It's whoever's winning the meme war, the one-liners. Anyway, I digress. So they've took all that power. They've played the Trump card, because after Iraq, after the ability to communicate worldwide, and finding that in every country the vast majority of people are the same, don't want war and just want to be able to get on, because these wars predominantly are for larger geopolitical agendas and multinational corporations, and that harnessed that energy that had to be steered, had to be controlled, and the creation of just look at Alex Jones. He's now actually like, yeehaw, they're going bomb. He's went from questioning who ISIS are and where they take their orders to now happy that Trump's dropping all these big massive bombs on a kind of scarecrow organisation, which means they could be anybody, anytime, anywhere, doing anything. It's just an excuse. Oh, look, we dropped a big motherfucking bomb. Cool. Who did you drop it on? ISIS. Okay. No, I mean that is that is the landscape they have created. Now I'm starting to ramble on here too much, but it's basically, right, the democracy scam has played the Trump card, right? Donald Trump, love him, hate him, don't listen to what he says, watch what he does, stand back and look how he's getting used, and the things that he said have been used to manufacture consent in the democracy scam. Because the democracy scam relies on manufacturing consent for these douchebags, known liars who never do what they say, and Mike Rivero, Alex Jones can't even admit, Alex Jones, what a scumbag. Mike Rivero, oh, I'm so surprised. Oh, it's shocking me. Riddle me this. Riddle me that. Oh, another president that does the absolute polar opposite what he says than when he's getting elected. Oh, I just can't carry on, Captain. I mean, come on, please. Mike Rivero's a wee geeky guy that like knows pi to like 1,000,000 decimal points or something, and and he's telling me that he's trying to pretend to people that he's shocked that Donald Trump isn't quite doing what he said on the tin. And he didn't see the butt boys he was with Benjamin Nutjob before he got elected. I mean, it was there. So the democracy scam has played the Trump card yet again, dishing up what people want. What's that going underground? What's the lyrics of that? The public get what the public want. Something along those lines. The public get what the public want, right? And the democracy scam gives the public what the public want during the build-up. Then they get elected, and you hand over your authority. You give them the mandate, and they go, okay, citizens, now I'm going to play guitar while I murder people. That was Tony Blair and Bill Clinton, remember? They would play guitar with the school kids. Look at me, oh. Anyway, so the democracy scam played the Trump card. If you're trying to figure out what's happening with like Russia, China and America, or the NATO clique, or the allies fighting it out here, right, and getting confused with sort of people saying, well, they're fighting, no, they're all in it together. Well, the best way to, a really good note of point is to go and look into Rabbie Burns and his history with Masonic lodges, right? And what I learned from exploring that history back in the day, a lot of things anyway, but because a lot of lodges claim to be Rabbie Burns' lodge, and I was like, right, well, only one lodge could be his lodge? Well, no, because the lodges have took over lodges, fought with other lodges, so on and so forth. So, right, aye. brothers will compete with each other outside the lodge, but in the lodge it's like it's like Highlander. They meet in the holy place and they just speak, and then they can go out and propagate. They're free. Anyway, so the war is very real. That they're jousting for power and geopolitical positioning, because now they see the technologies are in place to lock down and cement their 800-year Reich of City London further. And as I said, what a trick. Turn all the anti-war stuff, focus all that anti-war, a lot of that anti-war energy on Trump, because he was the peace guy going to bring peace, and then manufactured so much consent for at least 4 years, and then within the first few months he's dropping some motherfucking big bombs. So how do you turn anti-war into war? You play the Trump card. And that is what the democracy scam has done. So stop participating in their democracy scam. The system isn't there to serve you. It relies on your consent. Withdraw your consent. And I'm not saying even your Labour or anything like that. We can actually do this without you having to strike, riot, protest. Every time the government hold an election, we, the real people, hold our elections with the singularity: vote us, not them. Get away with the system, because democracy, ask every politician, they rule, govern and police by consent. If they do not have the consent of the governed, they are not a legitimate democratic government. You do not have to ask their permission to not make them null and void. We take our ball back, as Murph said. We take our power back. We exercise our power. Now, within that singularity of agreeing that the system isn't serving us and we have to scrap it and start again, within that singularity, there could be 1,000,001 groups, because that's how they control that strong, powerful message of agreeing the system isn't serving us and let's all come together and overhaul the system peacefully by voting against it in our elections, not the government elections. Because once there's more people voting in our election than the government election, then they can't stand up and say they've got our consent. Then we can take our ball back, figuratively burn all these institutions down and literally start again, because these things are never going to right themselves, because they have had the inherent corruption of the control system built into every single one of these institutions, more or less from their inception. A lot of them may have been incepted with a good premise, but then from the get-go they have been usurped by the system to make sure there isn't anything that they don't control. And ultimately, like, how do you, like, and you think, oh, this just sounds like a big massive conspiracy. Like, within all this bullcrap, they allow you to chat about, protest, whine and bitch and moan about, keep you away from the creation of money. And then when they do, they point you in the direction of, oh, the Federal Reserve, buy gold. Oh, the Bank of England, buy gold and Bitcoin. Steering you down an opposite direction to the one world digital currency which we're going down. Instead of, let's analyse this, understand it, and put in place a better system. We could easily do it, right? Because there's too much money. The money talks and bullshit walks, and we need to change that. And you don't change that through politics, because politics is bought and paid for. The system's been bought and paid for a long time ago. The system relies on the money of the banks, and we need to understand it's the banks and the whole banking sector and the creation of money that's enslaved us and bonded us. And ask a child to create a better economic model. They can do it. I know I could do it. Would it be perfect? Far from it. And would anybody agree? No. But we could come together and easily find a system better than the one we've got. Jubilee, end of central banking, end of usury. Any of you religious people out there want to get on board with this? I'm all on board. Ending usury. That is the fuck. That seems to be the root of all evil when it comes to currency. And this isn't an epiphany coming. People are coming to in 2017. This has been known for thousands of years. Judaism is the only religion that's never, ever, ever, ever outlawed or chastised usury. The Abrahamic religions, both Islam and Christianity, it was never a part of the religion until more modern history. Go and check it out. And then look, put that into your think box, into your nut about where we're standing today and the way that they've created all these shields, barriers, PC, anti-Semitic, you just hate the Jews. Hating the banking system is code for hating the Jews. No, it's not. It's hating motherfuckers who are defrauding us out of fucking usury. Don't give a fuck what religion, what stupid book you hide behind. You're a fucking human being that's a cunt that's using people for your own benefit. And I have a problem with that, and others do too, but the shackles are put on them about discussing this with all this shite fucking PC bullcrap, anti-Semitic fucking bullcrap to keep intellectual fucking discussion of this stuff wrapped up and kept away. No longer, man. People need to stand up and be counted and speak about this stuff with courage and not... anyway, I digress yet again. So there we have it, man. Hopefully that made some sense. I'm going to rattle and ramble on far too much. So tune in tonight for See Through the Fear Porn Friday, your second awakening. Welcome to your second awakening. There's so many more people now like the true people. There's going to now standing up and pointing out the scam of the alternative media and how it's played us and how it's pretty much been controlled. Maybe not just by one group, by different groups. It's not as independent as it made out to be. And you better start questioning all that stuff as much as you question the mainstream media. Oh, you don't need to do nothing. I think it's a wise step. It's been very beneficial for me, I humbly believe. And I think it's a benefit for every individual out there to question all your sources to the same standard. Does that make too much sense to some people? Oh, you just hate info whores because they're so great. Really? Really? Look at Alex Jones, man. It's a sinking ship. People have seen through that fucking fat Jabba the Hutt motherfucker. Thumbs it up, share it on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all the good stuff. Leave all your comments, good, bad, ugly and indifferent. I'll read and respond to as many as I can. And then if you do want to support anything I do, if you do get any value from the work I do, feel free to use the Patreon and PayPal buttons down below. It all goes to the hookers and blow. Alright, YouTube. Thanks for listening. And if I get the button right, catch you.
It's a F.E.A.R, F.E.A.R, it's a F.E.A.R, F.E.A.R, it's F.E.A.R, F.E.A.R, come on. It keeps the cheese and the maize and the rats and the race and those peasants in the days like a head of police. It's a F.E.A.R, come on.
Keeps clear.